Good morning, everybody. I guess I shouldn't say good morning because I don't know what time you guys are listening to me. I don't even know why I say good morning because I'm doing this in the afternoon. Who knows? Hello and happy day. I guess I should say to you, welcome to the PJo Show. Thank you so much for being with me today. Um, I am, I'm just glad that you're here. I don't know if you're watching me right now. If you are, hey, I don't know if you've downloaded me and we're going on a walk. If you are, you're doing good, sis. Keep it going. Or if we're driving to drop the kids off to school or go to the Target, I don't know. Wherever you are right now, I'm just thrilled to be with you. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your day. This is episode number 12. And so I'm patting myself on the back a little bit because episode 12, that's when I first met with my podcast team way back in October. They said, if you get 12 episodes in, that's an achievement. It's really hard to get 12 in. So hot dog number 12, patting myself on the back. Good job, me. And good job you for listening. So thank you so much. Episode 12. Woo! We're going to talk about something juicy. Mm-mm-mm. Juicy, juicy. We're talking about your ego today. Oh, I know. I know. I'm trying to make this one a little pumped up because sometimes your ego gets painted as just a real big jerk. And we're gonna demystify the ego a little bit today. And we're gonna love on your ego. That's right, because I truly believe that every part of you is good. I believe that every part of you is doing its best and is worthy of love. So that includes your ego, especially after we demystify it. Because let's be honest, your ego gets a pretty bad rap. Everybody's ego gets a bad rap. It's the truth. It's the truth. And I think part of that is because the spiritual community and this metaphysical community that I find myself in and that I actually love to be a part of. I mean, I love talking about really epic, deep, high level stuff, right? I do know I just said deep and high level, but it's I guess that's the way it goes. Yeah. I think sometimes in our excitement to share all that we know, we speak on a level that is so high that it is hard to consume. And even for me, as somebody who has been interested in playing in this world and reading as much as I can in this metaphysical, in the spiritual development world, it's hard to understand a lot of it. And I think the ego is one of the most complicated or overly complicated things. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to put it in really plain and simple terms, the way that I even think about. Like, this is how I speak to myself. I don't speak to myself in all these woo woo terms. I speak to myself as I speak to you. So, we are going to start out with a very basic, what is your ego? Your ego is it is how you see yourself. Your ego is the mask that you wear to protect yourself. We've talked about that, right? The mask that you wear of I'm okay, everything is great. The mask that you wear to hide what you're really feeling, the mask that you wear to be accepted by your peers or by people you don't even really want to be accepted by, like the people pleaser in you, that mask of I'm amazing, of I'm okay. That is your ego. This is how you see yourself. This is how you present yourself to the world. That is your ego. Your ego is fear based. Your ego lives in fear. Your ego lives in fear. And so what do I mean by that? Your ego lives in fear. It's fear-based. Your ego is what tells you you are not enough. Your ego is what keeps you playing small. Last week, I talked just about that, about playing small and about settling for a life that is less than what you are capable of. That is your ego. Your ego keeps you small. Your ego keeps you separate. Your ego is, this only happens to me. Your ego is, we've called it your super special unicorn syndrome. That is your ego. And with love, I say, you are special, but you're not a super special unicorn. Those don't exist. You know, that super special unicorn, that ego, that is, I'm the only person that this has ever happened to, ever. That is inaccurate. That is your ego talking. That is your ego keeping you small, keeping you safe. Ultimately, that is what your ego is. It is your protector. It is your protector. It wants you to be safe. It makes everything else bad, everything else wrong. Because you must be right. You need to be right. You need to be safe, right, and protected. That is your ego, you know. Your ego says things like, there is not enough. It's scarcity. Your ego is scarcity. Another way I like to look at it is your ego is living in your head. And we talk about this. We are starting to get into the meat and the potatoes of going from being head space living and shifting into a heart space living. So this is your ego lives in your ego lives in your head. Yeah, yeah. It allows you to say, I'm better than you. It gives us right and wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. It creates scarcity. And when I say scarcity, is there's not enough. Oh my gosh, there's just not enough for me. You know, we saw that with the toilet paper shortage of 2020. You know, we're buying a house right now, or we're trying to. Lord help us, we're trying to find a house. And right now, there is such little inventory in the housing market all around the country that there is this, people are in this place of scarcity of there's not enough. I'm not going to get a house. So I'm going to find a house that I like and I'm going to throw everything at it. And I'm going to make sure that I get it because I'm afraid that I won't ever get another house. That's headspace living. That's ego-based living. I have to be safe. I have to have a house. So I'm going to throw everything that I have at this one and make it mine. Scarcity. There's not enough. I'm running out of time. There's not enough money. There's not enough houses. Whatever. Scarcity is there's not enough. It is also I am not enough. Right? That's something else that your ego tells you. Keeps you small, keeps you safe. Oh, you can't do that. Have you told that to yourself? You can't do that. Oh, good Lord. What are you thinking? You can't do that. You're not good enough for that. You don't have the degree for that. You don't have the experience for that. That is your ego. Your ego is keeping you small, keeping you safe, keeping you contained. Yeah, yeah. Your ego is also the fear of not getting what you deserve. Have you felt that? Like somebody forgets to thank you and you're just like, well, that's the last time I get you a gift. You know, in your head, that's the last time I do something for you. You don't appreciate it when I do stuff for you. That is your ego speaking to you. That is you acting through your ego. That is fear-based. Fear-based. I didn't get what I deserved, so I'm not going to do it again. People don't see my greatness. Or whatever, right? That is ego. That is fear-based. So where do we get this ego, right? Where does it come from? Because when you're a kid, when you're a baby and you're in your early developmental years, you don't have this. You are developing it because you are still human. But, when we are wee little babes, we are truly intuitively led. Whatever feels good, we do it. We don't know the social guidelines of what we are supposed to be navigating. We learn them quickly. And so that is part of the development of the ego. We learn what gives us love and acceptance, and we learn what doesn't give us love and acceptance. So what do? We start to push down the part of us that we are afraid will not be loved and accepted. We start to shove her into a box, put her in the closet. We start to put a mask on her. We can put any type of metaphor on it that we want to, but basically what we start to do is we start to coat her in shame. We start to clothe that real, true us, this higher self us, your true you, with a capital T, true. We start to clothe her in shame, and we start to hide her because society, our peers, and our parents, our coaches, the people we want to love and accept us, they tell us what is lovable and what is accepting and what is acceptable. They give us that. They show us that. And so it is our ego that is taking those notes. If you want to be this, then you must be that. So let's become that. Let's start to put on a little piece of that mask, a little piece of that armor to hide real us, to make sure that we get that love and that acceptance that we need. One more layer of shame clothing. One more layer of shame clothing. So your ego is not who you truly are. Your ego is who you think you are. There is a big difference in the person that you think you are and the person that you are. I say that there's a big difference, but there's not really. But you got to go through a lot to integrate those two people, those two yous. And to do that, you have to do ego work. That's what I do. I do ego work. This is the first time that I've called it that, because I didn't have the awareness of that was what I was doing until just now. Like that is everything that I do, is the work that I do to observe and to heal my ego so that my human self, the person that I think that I am, and the person that I truly am, they are getting closer and closer and closer together. And it's not because I am killing off of my ego, because that's impossible, honeys. That our ego is our brain space, that's our head space, it's who we think we are. That we will always have a brain. We will always have a head space. So the goal is not to eliminate that. It is to slowly heal that to where you are working from a place of a healthy and an empowered ego as opposed to an unhealthy and controlling ego. Do you hear even the differences between the two just right there like that, right? It is healing a wounded, fearful, controlling ego and allowing that to become a healthy, loving, and empowered ego, right? So, how do we know if our ego is unhealthy? If our ego, how do we know that? Well, an unhealthy ego doesn't take responsibility. An unhealthy ego puts others down. An unhealthy ego is me centered. It is scarcity. It is not enough. It is fear. So, what then is a healthy ego? A healthy ego takes responsibilities. I wrote down this whole big list of what it is, right? Like, um, it's creativity and contribution. It's being responsible. It's abundant. These are all very heart, heart-based living words. Present, forgiveness. That is a healthy and a healed ego. Because look, your ego is still, yes, we've talked about being fear-based, we've talked about it being in your head, but it is very much your human self. Because even as we age, we still get all of these cues from society and culture and our peer groups of the correct, I'm using big air quotes on that, like the correct way to be. This is the acceptable way to be accepted. We receive those cues all the time. So what is important for us is to not put on the shame clothing that might give us, right? Not to dress ourselves in the shame of that acceptability. It's discovering if that is in alignment of who we really are and choosing to believe that or not. We have a choice with that, right? And that's one of the most beautiful things about getting older. Let's just take a minute right here, right now to say hallelujah for getting older. Like my give a shit factor is so low. Like once I hit 40, I was like, my 40s are going to be fabulous. And honey, they have been like my give a shit factor is real low because I have a lot of life experiences to back that up, right? Like I get to choose. I know that I have a choice now that I don't have to run with the popular kids. That's the gift of aging. I know who I am. And now I choose to stay in alignment with who I really am, not who I think I am or who I think I should be or who I want you to think I am. I've taken off those shame robes. That is your ego. I've started to make peace with my ego. Therefore, I have started to heal my ego. I've started to separate the two, the real me and the outside me, right? That fear-based me. I'm starting to separate those so that I can observe it. I know when my ego, when I've hit something or something's come through and it's got caught up on my ego a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yep. I know when I have that little place of unhealing, of a wound. well, okay, I've observed that, I've felt that, and so I can choose to work on that or not. I can I can choose to observe it and just let it go through, or I can own it, take responsibility for it, and get to the why, you know, the dynamic of why do I do that? Why did that happen? And I can slowly start to heal that. Oh, honey, it takes time. It takes some work. It is, this ego work it is really hard because what you have to do is you have to look at all of these behaviors that you do, all of these thoughts that you have, these closeted feelings and behaviors that you don't want people to see. You don't even want to admit them yourself. You have to observe those and you have to love yourself through those. And that's really hard. That's why I have the tagline, the work is hard. You don't have to be hard on yourself because it is really important that you know that this is uncomfortable. It is. We have to be comfortable in the uncomfortable because we have to see value in it, right? You can do anything. That's hard. I mean, you can do anything that's hard as long as you see value in it. I'm getting off track there, but thank you. Well, we're going to come back. Actually, we might be done. Who knows? Let me sit here for a second, see what's happening. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Your ego. It is who you think you are. It is how you present yourself to the world. But my friends, it is not who you are. It is not the true you. It's the protector of that true you. It's the protector. So here's something neat that I want to share with you. And it is, of course, about the ego. But so when I was talking about how that as a kid, how you develop your ego and your wounds, right? This is your ego is all your wounds, but how you get that is from your parents' wounds. And so, and they get it from their parents. So, and you give it to your kids. I think that is so cool to see how, your ego has been given to you. Part of it has been given to you by your parents. And then therefore you are giving your children your ego and your wounding, right? You're helping them develop that. And so when we start to heal our ego, when we start to heal those wounds, we heal the wounds of our family. This is generational healing that we're doing. And so your children don't receive them. And their children don't receive them. Now they receive other stuff. Don't worry. That's the human nature of that's just human nature. Like we're going to give our kids stuff. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about that. But you don't have to give them all the things that your parents did, right? Like in my life, I am healing shame, deep generational shame. And I did get that from my parents. And they did get that from their parents. But I'm working on it and I'm healing it for me so that my children don't receive it fully. They're receiving some of it, but not fully. And they can heal. And soon we will have healed our family line of shame. And that's the power of ego work. That's the power of this work. This is transformational power. And I think it's beautiful. Hard as hell. Oh man, is it beautiful. It is beautiful. Okay, I do believe that is, in fact, the end. I hope this landed well with you guys today. I'd love to hear what you think about this. I hope it was digestible. I had all these quotes from people and I didn't even bring them out. But I hope I made the ego a little bit more understandable, a little bit easier to digest. And also, I hope that I allowed you to see that your ego is worthy of love as well, because that's truly all your ego is searching for is love and acceptance. And so if you start to give that to yourself, your ego will start to heal and you'll be able to empower and fully love on everyone you come in contact with. Friends, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you are empowered today and every day. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful that you were here with me today. I hope you get out there and keep on kicking ass. Love y'all. Bye.